Youth sports about to get the go-ahead to return to action. That includes indoor sports. We talk with a local coach who sued to make it happen about who will pay for the expensive testing that teams will need before every game. Plus, Governor Newsom unveils a new plan that could get San Diego out of the most restrictive tier sooner than expected. And getting back to normal, we talk with doctors about what has to happen for it to be safe to drop measures such as wearing masks and social distancing.
ABC 10 News at 4 starts now.
A local coach who went to court to allow youth sports to resume says he has reached a deal to let all children play again. That includes both outdoor and indoor sports. Good afternoon. I'm Kimberly Hunt. In order to play, teams will have to follow the same guidelines that college has to follow for the protocols as well as the pros. ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer De La Cruz reveals who the coach says will pick up the bill for those tests.
Nearly 1 week after youth sports had their first practice since the pandemic, Coach Marlon Gardnera is claiming another victory.
Today, for all high school athletes in California, Christmas has come early.
The Scripps Ranch High School football coach led a lawsuit to resume youth sports despite not meeting metrics set by the state. A local judge ruled in his favor last month, but in a new settlement with the governor's office, that ruling now stretches far beyond San Diego County.
The terms of the temporary restraining order here in San Diego allowing all student athletes to return to play both indoor and outdoor will now go into effect statewide.
Gardnera's son Noah recounting the first moments he stepped back on the field since his 2019 season.
It was so amazing. It was so fun to just finally be back out there with the team.
As part of the agreement, youth sports will have to undergo the same rigorous testing as collegiate programs. Governor Newsom vowed to cover costs for football, rugby, and water polo. In a partnership with diagnostic companies, Gardnera and the Let Them Play movement are making sure every program will be covered using money from the CARES Act.
No out-of-pocket costs. We're not asking school districts to pay for it. They're willing to come to you and provide that testing. So we truly have an opportunity to get all kids back in sports.
The settlement allows each player to have up to 4 family members attend games as spectators.
Nice hustle, Logan.
For players, parents, and more than 6,000 coaches who pushed to make this happen, this movement is bigger than winning any game.
This will always be the proudest moment of my coaching career because it has nothing to do with sports. It has everything to do with kids.
Jennifer De La Cruz, ABC 10 News.
The state is expected to release official guidance on the settlement rules in the next 24 hours. We'll keep you posted. Some new changes could help San Diego get out of the restrictive purple tier a little sooner. Today, Governor Newsom unveiled a new vaccination plan. ABC 10 News anchor Lindsay Pena reveals where more doses will need to go in order to speed up reopenings across the state.
Over the last year, 55% of those that have tested positive in this state have been tested positive, happen to be Latino. 46% of the deaths happen to be Latino.
Those sobering statistics from Governor Gavin Newsom today as he announced the state's new plan to address inequities when it comes to vaccines. California will start doubling the vaccine allotment for communities hardest hit by COVID-19.
By providing 40% of all of the administered doses to those communities that have had a disproportionate disease burden.
The state is using its Healthy Places Index, which takes into account a long list of factors related to things like the economy, education, and access to health care. Those zip codes with the lowest scores will get priority. The state's My Turn vaccine scheduling website will also set aside appointments for those in affected communities. Once at least 2 million people in those areas have been vaccinated, the governor says the state will make it easier for counties to move through tiers.
Continuing to keep the tiers in place, but to do so in a way that allows us to move through them a little bit more quickly.
So far, the state says it's vaccinated about 1.6 million people in the target group and expects the 2 million goal to be reached within the next couple of weeks. Lindsay Pena, ABC 10 News.
Today, this state also updated its guidelines about the most effective use of masks and when to consider double masking. You can find that on our website, 10news.com.
Millions of people 65 and older with limited income and people with disabilities who have limited financial resources as well rely on Supplemental Security Income, or SSI. The pandemic is making it harder for more people to get these benefits who need them. Numbers from the Social Security Administration show new benefits for SSI are down nearly 30% during the pandemic. But advocates say the need is as great as ever.
These are people who are very low income, who don't have other sources of income. And, our understanding of what's going on with the economy is not that there are suddenly other sources of income for individuals who are 65 and older. Many of them have lost jobs if they had been able to work.
Now, the offices across the country where you typically go to apply for these benefits have been closed for nearly a year as a precaution with COVID. Currently, there's no public plan for how and when they're going to reopen. There's no online SSI application, so people have had to call their local office to apply.
As time has gone on, getting through to the local offices has been more and more difficult. Where people are, getting through and it says that the voicemail box is full. So there's not even a way for them to leave a message, or the number just rings and there's no answer, or they call and it's just always busy.
Kate Lang, an attorney with the organization Justice in Aging, says they have suggested to the Social Security Administration they make a short form available online where people can fill in their information, mail it in, and then get a call back to do their application. The agency tells us in a statement they're exploring how to set up real-time communication between their employees and community-based partners to more effectively obtain applications. The pandemic has moved up the agency's timeline to make the application available to everyone online, but that will still be a long process. Currently, the agency is also developing special training for caseworkers in the community to make them more familiar with the process for helping people apply.
People in New Zealand are moving to higher ground after a massive 8.1 earthquake. The epicenter was in a small island chain about 500 miles north of New Zealand. And there are cars lined up to get to an evacuation center away from the coast because of fears of a tsunami. A tsunami watch has been declared for Hawaii and a tsunami warning in American Samoa. This was the biggest earthquake in the world since 2018. And extra security tonight at the U.S. Capitol building. National Guard troops tried to be a visual deterrent in the area throughout the day. The Capitol Police Department issued a warning about a militia group trying to breach the building again. It may stem from a QAnon conspiracy. Many believers thought former President Trump would retake office today because March 4th was Inauguration Day until the 1930s. The House canceled any votes today in response. The Senate is still at work trying to pass a new COVID relief package. Right now, the entire 628-page bill is being read aloud. It will take about 10 hours. That was forced as a protest tactic by Republican Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin. After that will be 20 hours of debate, followed by a series of votes on amendments. The final vote is expected to be along party lines. One Republican is considering voting for it. That's Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. The bill includes direct payments to most Americans, extending unemployment benefits, and money for vaccinations and testing.
We start the news feed with a new study that is linking COVID-19 deaths and obesity. The World Obesity Forum says the risk of death from COVID is about 10 times higher in countries where most of the population is overweight. The group is calling for people who are living with obesity to be prioritized for a vaccine. Researchers say the vaccine has changed what they see in the breast milk given to babies. Doctors at Providence Cancer Institute say moms had antibodies in milk after taking both the Pfizer and Moderna shot. They say none of the babies in these studies had adverse side effects.